Good morning, everybody. J.R. Fisher here, and it is Monday, the 21st. I want to welcome everybody. Want to remind you to use that chat box there. Put in your questions, your comments, your suggestions, all that good stuff. Today's going to be a really cool session because by the end of today, this probably 30-minute session, you'll be able to get more done. So it's going to be worth your while to stick to the end. I've got some tips for you, a few things I've learned along the way, and I think it's going to help you out a lot. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. Turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every single time I go live. Make good use of that chat box, guys. Tell me who you are. Ask any questions you have. I've got another little iPad right here. See that? I can see myself. So I'm monitoring what you have to say over here off to the side. Let me get this thing plugged in here so that we have power. Without power, it won't work well. There we go. Got some power now. But make sure you use that. I mean, you can just introduce yourself if you want. Wait a second here. I've lost my connection. I want to make sure I get my connection back, guys. Give me 1 second here. I am trying to connect again. I think plugging it in did something here. Hang on 1 second. Okay, let's see here. Okay, are we hooked back in? Give me 1 second. There we go. There we go. I think we're good now. I think we are good. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. We lost a little connection for just a second. Put in that chat box that you can hear me and that you can see me. I just want to make sure. I lost my connection. I plugged in my power cord here, and all of a sudden the camera went away. We don't want the camera going away. That's not productive. We're supposed to be talking about being productive today. So put something in that chat box. Let me know you can hear me. And I want to get on with this list, but I want you to think about this. How often do you feel like, you have worked your butt off? You've put in hours of work, but you got nothing to show for it. You feel like you chased your tail all day long. You were very reactive to everything that happened around you, and you really didn't get much done. I felt that way before. I used to feel that way. I don't feel that way anymore, but I've picked up a few things that have really helped me along the way. And Paul says, okay, what we got on here? I'm going to start putting these comments up on the screen. Paul says, loud and clear. You had stated before you start the week on Sunday, planning the week. Does Jessica do the same or do same? Yes, as a matter of fact, she was doing that yesterday. We went out and saw a movie yesterday, The Batman. I'm not into these superhero kind of movies. But before we went, we both had to do some work. And I got to the gym and I got back and I planned stuff, and I had to set up this live that you guys are watching right now. And I had to, set up emails, and I had to do a thumbnail, and she was doing the same thing. She was setting up her week. And yeah, we both do plan that stuff. It's got to be done. If we don't get it done, then it doesn't get done. So you got to set it all up. But I'm going to go through a list of things, but I just want to share with you. I remember a time when I couldn't get much done. I mean, I was always like frazzled, and I was putting in a lot of hours, but at the end of the day, nothing really happened. And I guess the thing I want you to really understand today is it's not that you have to work a whole lot more. That's not it at all. Matter of fact, you may end up working less, but you do have to get it organized. You got to get this whole thing set up so that it pretty much guides you through your day. You don't want to be reactive to stuff. Reactive is not good. Now, sometimes you have to be reactive. I got some emails yesterday. They were actually support tickets, and they were from people who didn't get their orders. And the reason they didn't get their orders is they bought from these ads on Facebook of people who were scamming them using our company name and taking their money and never sending them anything. And I feel bad, but I have to tell those people, you got scammed. You didn't even buy from us, because they would put in, hey, yeah, I bought from you guys. And I'm like, really? What was the email you got? And they said, well, it came from QRBZZDEF. And I'm like, that's not us, that's not Survivalcave food. And I feel bad, but that's a reactive thing. That's a reactive thing that I have to do. But if you can set up your environment. And it's not just making up a list of things to do. And I'm going to go through all this in just a second, but it's actually setting up your entire environment so that it makes you more productive. That's what we're trying to do here, is be more productive. Paul says, okay, got that in there. So that's what we want to do. Now, the first time thief, and we didn't have this time thief years ago. This is a new time thief. This is a time thief that is really insidious. This is a time thief that will steal more of your time than anything else. This is a time thief that I've gotten caught into. I don't anymore, but it is a terrible time thief, and it's social media. Social media, and I don't even know why they call it social media anymore, because for the most part, the stuff you post, let's say on Facebook, nobody ever sees it anyhow. Okay, so it's not very social anymore, but it's getting in there and it's getting hooked into all these posts and all these people's lives and all this stuff going on, and it just robs you of your time. RTOPIK, all this new technology can be confusing and frustrating, especially for those of us who didn't grow up with all this stuff. Also, soon as you get comfortable with something like Facebook, it changes. This is true. Now, I want to call you out on one thing. We all grew up with it. We all grew up with it. If you were alive when it was happening, then you grew up with it. Did you grow up with it as a child? No, but does it make it any different? No. So one thing you don't want to do is tell yourself that you're at a disadvantage, because as soon as you tell yourself you're at a disadvantage, your brain is going to believe it. And you're not really at a disadvantage. You know, if Facebook came out when you're 45, then you were alive, you know? And I think a lot of people say, well, you got to learn everything when you're a kid. It's not true. When I started my business, as a matter of fact, I was 50 years old, and I couldn't really send emails. I couldn't really do anything online. I didn't know how to do anything. I couldn't type, and I still can't type, you know, so I can say that's a disadvantage, but it's not. I don't think it is. So be very careful when you tell yourself you didn't grow up with something, because if you were around when it occurred, then you were there. You were there. You were just there at an older age, but you were there. Let's see here. Paul says it had to be so important, especially when you were starting out part-time, to make most of time. Yeah, and I got to tell you, Paul, I was terrible at this in the beginning. I was really terrible at this. And like I said, I'm getting ready to go through my list, but the first thing is that social media, guys. And here's what you can do on social media. Excuse me. I am not saying don't use social media. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is don't use it all day long. Okay. Don't spend your day watching reels. Okay. You know what a reel is? Little quick, short things. And I've been caught up in doing that too. But I allow myself to do that when I want to do it, when I have the time for it, when it's not work time. So what you want to do is decide, when are you going to go on to Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. You can't just randomly do it during the day. If you randomly do it during the day, you're going to get caught up in it. It is designed to pull you in. It is designed to keep you on the platform. There are experts. There are people who study your eye movements and where you're looking on a page to figure out how to keep you online. So keep in mind, if you don't set some boundaries, if you don't say, hey, I'm going to do social media from 9:30 in the morning to 10 a.m., and then maybe I'll check it again from 5:30 to 6 p.m. If you don't do that, you are going to get caught up into social media. It will control you. It's designed to control you. Don't think that you can just resist it, because you won't be able to unless you set some parameters. Okay, unless you set some parameters. Now, mine is a little tricky because I'm actually posting for my business on social media. So I have to decide, when am I going to do that? And what exactly am I going to post, and where am I going to post? Once I've decided that, then that's all I do. I don't do any more than that. Okay. I just don't want to do any more than that. So I have to set up some rules, and we're going to talk about some of those rules in just a second, but social media is your biggest time suck. You've got to understand that. Now, the next thing I want to tell you is number 2 is there's no such thing as multitasking. Don't tell yourself that you're going to work on 3 tasks at the same time. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as multitasking. Nobody can think 2 thoughts at the same time, let alone do 2 pieces of work at the same time. That has been a idea that's been sold to us over the year. Are you a multitasker? No, you're not. All you're doing is shifting your brain from one thing to the next and back to the first thing and then back again. And when you do that, you lose focus. So if you keep shifting between all these different tasks, all you're doing is losing focus. And it's been proven it takes several minutes to get back into what you're doing. So you're wasting time. You're not multitasking. You're never going to multitask. It's not going to happen. All right. Number 3 thing I want to talk about, your desk. What does your desk look like? What does your desk look like? Now, right now, I've got a few items on my desk I shouldn't have on here. I've got a microphone and a camera from the other day. I've got a bottle of water. And outside of that, I've just got an empty desk. Empty desk is nice. As a matter of fact, you've got to clear all the trinkets, all the extra papers, all the Post-it notes, all the staplers, all this crap off your desk. You say, well, JR, I use a stapler. Okay, but do you use it every single day? And if you do, you've got too much paperwork. If you're using a stapler every single day, you get too much paperwork. And you say, well, I've got my tape. Just get rid of your paper clip holder. Get rid of your stapler. Get rid of your tape. Get rid of all these things. Get rid of your in and out box. Man, I got rid of that. I want to say in 2014, I had an in box and an out box. It was actually combined into one, and it was nice, and it was leather, and it was cool. And then I had this leather pad, okay, and it was nice and it was cool. And then I had this leather holder of my pens and pencils and all that, but I didn't use those every day, so I got rid of it. The pad on my desk, I didn't write on it. I didn't need a pad. I got rid of it. The in and out box, right? All it did was collect crap that I didn't want to deal with. That's what those in and out boxes normally are, is it's stuff you don't want to deal with. Get rid of it. At this point in my life, I have 0 paper on my desk. None. I don't have paper. I get rid of paper. I don't like paper. Paper is not my friend. Paper bogs me down. Paper makes me feel like I'm choking. I don't like paper, so I got rid of it. Let me get a sip here real quick. All right, and guys, don't forget to say hello. Don't forget to participate. Some of you guys are really good about that, and some of you just kind of hang out. Some of you guys are just, you're not there. So it's really important that you participate, that you write something in there. Paul says, like you, I have to block out time to focus on one thing. The time last trying to multitask is huge. Yes. Oh, time lost. I think you said, oh, it is lost. Okay. I couldn't see it from here. It is huge. There's no such thing as multitasking. It doesn't exist. If you want to argue with me, do it in the chat box. Tell me why you think you can multitask. Matter of fact, if you think you're a multitasker, put it in the chat box. Let's see if you really are. I don't think you are. And if you aren't watching this live, put it in the comments section below. Tell me how you multitask. Tell me how you think 2 thoughts at the same time. I bet you really don't do it. I bet you don't. So anyhow, I had to clear my desk. And what you can do is you can say, I'm going to allow 4 things on my desk. Like right now, I've got my computer. I have to have this computer. It's a must, okay? But as I look at the other things, do I need it? I've got my cup of tea right here. Do I need that? Yes, I do. I want to have tea when I'm doing this. I have a mouse right here, okay? Because I'm controlling the screen. That's okay to have that, okay? And I have my iPad right here. Outside of that, I don't have anything. And the reason I don't have anything on my desk is because it will distract me. I don't want anything to distract me. And I have my bell, but my bell you can't count. The bell's got to be there, right? See here, let's see. Paul's got a comment in here. Just FYI, your video looks not sharp. Audio quality is excellent. Yeah, it has something to do with StreamYard, Paul. I don't know why it does it, but it gets blurry for some reason. And we're going to talk to StreamYard and see if we can fix that. It has nothing to do with the camera or anything. It's actually the software. And I apologize for that. The software is not good. We're working on some external cameras, of which I'm really working on because I want these external cameras and microphones too. I'm working on an external microphone. And I know that sounds simple. You say, well, just plug one in. It's not that simple with a MacBook Pro. It doesn't work that easy with a MacBook Pro. Matter of fact, I've got all kinds of cables I've ordered. I'm on my 3rd or 4th cable. The other cable didn't work. I don't know. It's a whole thing. So we're working on that, and I apologize for that. So anyhow, keep your desk clear, okay? Keep your desk clear. And you don't really technically need a desk. That's only if you want to have a desk. You don't technically need it. Now, the next thing I'm going to tell you, and it has a lot to do with getting rid of paper, is keep a digital to-do list. Consider skipping all paper versions and just have a digital list, okay? A digital list will allow you to search what is really a powerful advantage over paperwork. You can't search your paperwork. You have to go through every single piece of paperwork. When I do a digital list, I can actually search keywords. I can make keywords for whatever that item is, and I'll be able to search it later on. So you could search for, I don't know, YouTube in your digital list, and anything that you tagged with YouTube, you could pull it up, and it's going to save you a lot of time. Think about that. Think about how many times a day you do a repetitive task where you're just going through pieces of paper. That is so much lost time, guys. This will gain you so much time if you just switch over to a digital list. I have a digital list for books I'm working on. I have a digital list for recipes. I have a digital list for YouTube videos. I have a digital list for the grocery store. And in the grocery store, like I'll give you an example. My wife and I share a shopping list. And on that shopping list, we add stuff to it. And the cool thing about it, and I have it in a program called Google Keep. Matter of fact, let me put that in there in that chat box there, because this will help you guys out tremendously. Search Google Keep. That is an excellent way of staying organized, guys. Google Keep, the way it does it is like I can add stuff to my list, and it has a little tick box next to each item. And when I click the tick box, it throws it down to the bottom as an item that's been done. Now, here's why this is really important, especially let's say a grocery list. Let's say I had milk, eggs, and bread on there, okay? And I bought all those items and I ticked them all off. It throws it to the bottom, so that later on, if I need milk, eggs, and bread, I can untick it at the bottom. It'll throw it back up at the top, and it's back on my list. I didn't have to type in the word milk or eggs or bread. That saved me time. Now, you may say, well, that's a small amount of time, JR. That's a very small amount of time. That's only going to take you like 30 seconds to do that. You're right, but it's another 30 seconds. It's another 30 seconds. I used to teach my kids this too, when they would say, you know, this is only $3 or this is only $5. I say, no, it's another $5. It's another $3. You have to look at it that way. You have to look at these small increments of time that eats away at you. When you search through your paperwork, that eats away at your time. When you have to keep adding things to your list, that eats away at your time. Use software that's going to make it easy for you. Use Google Keep. It's free. I'm not selling it. I'm not an affiliate for it. There's no money made off it. It's just something that Google gives you for free. And it's a very cool thing. Paul says, I find the digital shopping list and pickup saves time and money. No more impulse buying. Yeah, that's very true too. If you're the type person that you go to the grocery store and you go for 4 items and you come out with 40 items, it saves you time and money. Okay, time and money, because you're buying things that you don't necessarily want or need. I did that the other day with a couple of sauces. I saw there was one sauce that was like $4.99, and they had it marked down to 45 cents. Wow, 45 cents. I checked the date. The date was fine. I saw another sauce they had marked down. It was like $3.99. They had it marked down to 35 cents. I'm like, well, I can't go wrong. It's 35 cents and 45 cents. I came home. I showed my wife. I was bragging about all the money I'd saved on it. I put it on my food, and it was awful. They were both awful. I had to throw them both away. So that's maybe a weird example of me buying food that I hadn't tasted yet. But those sauces were terrible. I mean, they were inedible. So I understand why they marked them down so far, because nobody's going to buy them twice. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to buy them twice. So that's my next thing on the list, is use that digital list. That digital list will help you tremendously. Now, the next one, I think we're up to number 5 now, is you want to set aside 15 minutes every day, but at the end of the day. Set aside 15 minutes every day, but at the end of the day. Now, those last 15 minutes aren't for deep breaths before you leave. They're not for you to meditate. They're not for any of that. These 15 minutes before you leave your work, and your work could be the couch, or it could be your office, or it could be you're driving somewhere. But that is where you want to set up everything for the next day. You want to put things away. You want to get rid of whatever paperwork that you didn't finish today, and don't keep putting it away. Deal with it. That's the problem I used to have with paperwork. And that's why I got rid of paperwork, is because I wouldn't deal with it. It would just sit there and sit there and sit there, and I never dealt with it. As a matter of fact, I've got some paperwork in the pantry I'm going to get rid of today. It just reminded me of it. I don't have any on my desk. There's none on the counters or anything like that. But you got to either, with paperwork, I found the best thing to do is either take care of it right then and there, throw it away, handle it, or take a picture of it, a digital picture, and file it that way. okay? Unless you need that piece of paper, unless it's a document that you're going to need. And if so, go ahead and file it wherever you're going to file it. We don't have file cabinets anymore. We got rid of them because we got rid of all of our files. We put everything online. If it's a birth certificate or something like that, sure, you've got to keep that. I get that. But there aren't too many documents like that anymore, guys. There's very few documents that you have to have anymore. Don't kid yourself into saying, I have to have this document. Now, some of you may have, like, say, coupons, something like that. Maybe it's a $1 off some Happy Meal or something like that. Have a spot for those. And I think the best spot for those is in your car, because you're never going to use it at your house. Now, I've seen that happen so many times where people say, well, I've got these coupons at the house. I didn't bring it with me. All the coupons you have that you think you're ever going to use, put it in your car. Put it in your car. That way you have it, and then look at them regularly and check the expiration date, because they're usually only good for a month or two, and throw them away. And it's the best thing you can do. So, as far as coupons, paperwork, all that kind of stuff, everything has a place, okay? And that last 15 minutes of the day, you want to take care of that. You're going to come to work the next morning a whole lot more comfortable, a whole lot more organized if you take care of all this stuff at the end of the day. That 15 minutes, that small 15 minutes can save you hours the very next day. I promise you it can. Let me look at some of the comments I got here. That is Paul's. Okay, let me get this other one up here. All these apps like Google Keep are great. How do you first find them all? I search. I really do. I search. My wife and I share things a lot. So when I see something online that I think is cool, I'll send her the article. I'll send her the app or whatever. Maybe I see a certain kind of, I don't know, food, or I'll see a site that, like she's into pets and training and nutrition for animals. And I saw one the other day, and it's a recall site, and you can put in any dog food you want, and it lets you know if there's recalls on it. And I sent it to her, and she looked at it, and she already knew about it, which was kind of funny. She knows about a lot of these things. But it was only for dry dog food, and we don't feed dry dog food, so that site was useless, so we got rid of it. Google Keep is something she started doing, and she said, hey, I'm going to share Google Keep with you. I'm going to add you to this list, and now I use Google Keep for a lot of things. She also shared with me, and this is a big time saver, guys, a app for all your passwords. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up. We use MSecure, and let me pull it up real quick. Okay, next. They're trying to get me to do something here. They're updating, but I want to show you. This is all my passwords. Look at this. Look at all these passwords on here. Okay, I've got hundreds of them. And that way, I never have to reset my password constantly. How many of you guys always forget your passwords and you just reset it again? How many times have you done that? How much time is that wasted for you? Get one of these apps like this, Google Keep. I think I paid $10 for. It saved me thousands and thousands of dollars in time looking for stuff, okay? Get an app like that that's going to help you get organized. It matters so much if you have something like that, and it can save you so much time. All right, next thing I want to talk to you about, and this is number 7, I think it's number 7, is schedule organizing or filing time, okay? Now, you can do this 2 ways. You can either, and I guess you're technically scheduling organizing time if you go through stuff and you handle it as soon as you go through it. But if you're not that type of person, if you get all your mail in and you don't open it and you just set it aside, set an amount of time every single day to go through it, every single day. And you say, well, JR, I don't have time to go through it every single day. Well, if you have time every 3 days, then you have time every single day, right? Because all you're doing is letting it pile up. Don't tell yourself you don't have time to do stuff. Don't wait. Do it right then. And I like to do, like, if we go get the mail and bring it home, we go through it right then. And I say go get it and bring it home because where we live in our neighborhood, we have a place where all of our mail goes and we have to go pick it up. They don't want mail trucks driving all through the neighborhood. It degrades the neighborhood, I guess. I don't know. Let me get a sip here. But you don't want to wait, okay? You don't want to wait because it's going to pile up. And there's no really putting stuff off. It still has to get done. There's no putting stuff off. It still has to get done. It's like people who let dishes pile up in the sink or up on the counters and all that. At some point, you got to clean it up, right? I think everybody does at some point. You got to clean it up. So really putting it off just makes the job bigger and more taxing on your brain later on. If you've got a dirty dish, put it in the dishwasher or wash it. Do whatever you got to do with it, but do it right then. Every night, at the end of our dinner or whatever, we go in there and we clean the kitchen. It's clean. Every morning we wake up to a clean kitchen. That's just the way it is. I didn't used to be like that. Okay, I'm telling you, I didn't used to be like that. So schedule that time. And my schedule is whenever I go get the mail, I go through it. Whenever I get a piece of paper, I go through it. And that's the same thing as scheduling. But if you want to schedule, at the end of every day or the beginning of each day to go through all the stuff, I like the end of the day so I can start the next day a whole lot cleaner. I think we're up to number 8 now. Put repeating tasks on some type of autopilot. Okay. Every job that says you got to do every single year or every single week or every single day, put it on autopilot. Every job has little tasks that need to be handled weekly, monthly, whatever. Don't reinvent the wheel every single time you start these recurring tasks. Automation tools can be your best friend. Pre-written thank yous to people. I have a pre-written spam respond. And what that is a lot of people will buy our product, they think they are, from some kind of spam or scammer site. And I have an email that explains what these scammers are. And then when I go into that email that I get from them, I can click on it and it drops that email in there. It says, hey, sorry, you may have gotten ripped off, blah, 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 blah. And I send that right out to them. If your job is on, say, social media and you're posting things, use stuff like Hootsuite. Hootsuite is excellent. We can take a post from, let's say, YouTube, and I can send it out to Twitter. I can send it out to Instagram. I can send it out to Facebook. I can send it out to YouTube, all at the same time. I don't send it to different places. This is all automated in a software. So as soon as I have that video, it automatically sends it all out. These automations, guys, are so important. Now, if you've got some kind of automation you're using, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear about it in the chat box there. Put it in there. Let's see here. Put another one of these comments up here. Working at the firehouse, you learn to be organized, to be efficient on a fire scene. Yeah, it's kind of important, right? I was on the ambulance for years in the city of Virginia Beach, and we had a list. We had acronyms like OPQRST, and that was what questions to ask people when they were ill, what was wrong with them, okay? And you had to have those. We had those protocols. We had certain things we had to do in certain order. First thing we had to do is see if somebody was breathing. Okay, that's the first thing you got to do. If somebody's unconscious, you got to see if they're breathing, because if they're not breathing, the brain's going to die. So that's the first thing we had to do, is assess that. Then we assess pulse and all these other things. But odds are, if they aren't breathing, nothing else is going to help, right? So we would always make sure they were breathing. Being organized carries over into multiple areas of life. Oh boy, isn't that true? Isn't that true? Have you ever been in a parking lot and you look over into somebody's car and it's just full of junk and trash and newspapers and all that? What are the odds that you were to go to their house and their house was neat and clean? Probably not. So if you want to start getting better in all areas, start in one area. Is your car clean? Is your car full of paperwork and trash and all that? And you say, well, JR, I've always got trash because I'm eating out, I'm doing this. Put a trash bag in your car. Put the trash in the trash bag, okay? This is a simple thing. Put it in that trash bag. And don't leave it in there, okay? Take it out. Years ago, I had AAA. I love AAA, not for the maps, not for any discounts, but because they gave me these little plastic trash bags I could keep in the car. They were awesome. But every day, I don't leave any trash in the car. It always comes out every single day, because you're always in a spot where you can pull up next to a trash can and get rid of it. But by keeping my car clean, I'm going to keep my house clean. I'm going to keep my bedroom clean. I'm going to keep my closet clean. I'm going to keep everything clean, my teeth clean, right? I'm going to floss. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'm going to do all that stuff I'm supposed to do. It does carry over. Paul's very right about this. Discipline and organization go hand in hand with developing systems to be efficient. Nothing worse than having kids put kitchen stuff in wrong place. Ha ha ha. Yes, I had kids, and I raised them by myself. And yeah, I had certain rules. It was really funny because in our house, our kitchen butted up to the living room. And we used to always bring toys in the kitchen, and they would leave them all over. And our floor at the time, this is years ago, was vinyl flooring. And I would step on them and I would hurt my feet. And then in the living room, there was carpet. So it was like carpet up to the kitchen and then this vinyl flooring. We had a huge kitchen. And one day I said, that's it. That's it. No more toys in the kitchen. You cannot have a toy in the kitchen under no circumstances. No toys in the kitchen. Now, what was funny is where the carpet met the linoleum floor or the vinyl floor, there was a row of toys because they knew they could have them in the living room. They couldn't have them in the kitchen, which I compromised at that. So they had a row of toys right at the edge of the carpet there, almost coming into the kitchen, which I thought was really pretty funny. As Paul says, IBM used to take a new hire to lunch and suggested they drive. It allowed them to see if the car looked bad, as well as how they treated the help. Oh, wow, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, you can tell a lot from somebody's car. You can tell a lot from somebody's car. What does the inside of somebody's car look like? And that will tell you a lot about their life. That'll tell you a lot about their life, because if that's a mess, if the car's dirty, if the inside of the car's got trash in it, all those things, yeah, not good, right? And how they treat help. And, you know, I have a hard time with help. And what I mean by that is that person waiting on you is no different than you. And for somebody to treat somebody different because their job's different, and I know I'm a little off track here, but I do want to hit up on this since he brought it up. Nobody's better than anybody else. I don't care what your job is. I don't care what your talents are. I don't care what. Nobody's better than anybody else. You just have a different job. You have a different way of making money, but you're not better than. Better than is a silly thing because you're just a human being. Everybody's a human being. Some people have more education than others, but they're not better than. It's not better than. And we got to get rid of that idea. And as soon as we get rid of that idea of better than, and in all fairness, I grew up pretty poor, and I was a dishwasher, and I cleaned toilets, and I waited tables, and I bartended, and did all these things. So I was in those positions. But I think if everybody realized that they're not better than, I see a lot of people who forget who they were. They come up poor and they get some money, and all of a sudden they get cocky and they start treating other people poorly that are below what they perceive to be them. And how is that? Because you have more money in the bank. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. So I always try to be as kind as I can to somebody. We were at a restaurant last night after that stupid 3-hour Batman movie. Oh my God. But anyhow, we were at a restaurant and they totally screwed up our food order, and we probably waited 45 minutes to an hour to get our food. And it was at a sushi place, so they didn't have to cook anything. Okay, these were just rolls and sushi and stuff. All they did is cut some fish and put it on some rice. And the waiter was very kind, and he came over 2 or 3 times, and he said, "Hey, I'm sorry. And a lot of people would say, "Well, I'm not going to leave a very big tip because it took forever to get my food." Understand that the people in the kitchen are still going to get paid the same amount. They're the ones who made the food. The sushi guy is still going to get his salary, whatever it is. The waiter, unfortunately, works for tips, and that waiter had no control over how long it took them to make the food. So you gotta start rationalizing. If food is bad in a restaurant, don't take it out on the waiter. The waiter didn't make the food. He didn't cook the food. She didn't cook the food. So you got to kind of get your brain logically thinking and treat everybody kindly. So we're going to end on that today. Treat everybody kindly. How hard is it to do? It takes no effort to be kind to somebody. It takes effort to be mean. Okay, you got to really try to be mean. Why would you want to do that? You don't want to do that? No, it's going to come back to you, by the way. It's going to come back to you. However you treat other people, it will come back to you. And if you don't believe me, think about all the bad things that you've said and done. And don't you kind of feel like something's come back? Or has your life just gone smoothly ever since you did bad things to other people? And don't tell me you never did a bad thing to other people, because everybody has. Everybody has. That just happens that way because you're dumb when you're young. I know I did dumb things. I liked a teacher who had a question on a test, which was a life lesson. What was the janitor's name? Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But sometimes you're not introduced to the janitor, in all fairness. But yeah, everybody's the same, guys. Everybody's the same. It's just a different job. Don't look at people differently because they're doing a different job than you. I know, because I've done those lower end jobs. Some of you who haven't done those lower end jobs, you can't relate. But trust me, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, I feel very fortunate now. I get to talk and type and make a living. I used to have to, scrub floors and wash people's dirty dishes. That's what I had to do. But I got to tell you, at the time, I actually liked the job. It was kind of fun. It was in a cool restaurant. They had the pretty cocktail waitresses, so it was kind of fun. But the point is, everybody's the same. I hope this list has helped you out some, guys. I hope it's given you an idea how you could save some time, become more productive. That's what we're trying to do here today, is be more productive. And you guys have really been helpful today. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you asking questions and participating. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down there. And bell notifications, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or if I upload a video. Give me a thumbs up if you would. I would really appreciate that. Let's see here. I got another comment popping in here. Let's see here. Hey, JR, what was wrong with the Batman? I haven't seen it yet. Haha. Well, I'll tell you. First off, and I don't think any movie should do this. It was a 3-hour movie. Just grasp onto this. 3-hour movie. 3 hours. Secondly, I don't like superhero movies. That's not my thing. My wife liked it, and I don't mind going with her, and she enjoys it, and I should support her. But I can't do 3-hour movies, guys. I can't do it. It's just too long. I think I fell asleep about 5 times, but she would always give me one of these. She says, "You're snoring. I think anyone who worked in food says it's hardest work they ever did. Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. I'm not going to say it wasn't difficult, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I to this day, I like to cook because I worked in food industry, and it's really kind of cool. I mean, I liked waiting tables. It made me feel like I was important. Really, I mean, in my neighborhood where I grew up, I mean, to get a job as a waiter was a big thing. And now I look back and I see it wasn't, but to me it was. And to that waiter that's waiting on you, hey, it may be a big thing to them, okay? But whatever they're doing, if they do it well. I had a waiter the other day. Oh my God, this guy was so amazing. He was just one of the best waiters I think I've ever had. I told the manager that. I said, this guy's amazing. And he's like, yeah, we hear that all the time. They almost blew it off because they were like, yeah, we know how good he is. But I mean, everybody can do a job half-assed, or they can do it really good. So when you see somebody really doing a great job, take care of them. Way over tip them, compliment them, tell them they did a good job. You don't know how far that could go with somebody who's having family problems or health problems or had a bad day or whatever. And if you pull them aside and say, hey, I think you're one of the best waiters I've ever had. I told him that. And he was like, wow, thank you so much. He was so happy that I noticed what great service he was giving. He was doing way more than any waiter in that entire restaurant. In that restaurant I go to a lot, and I know what the waiters are supposed to do. He was helping the bus people. He was doing just extra things that nobody else was doing. And it was just so impressive. Good morning, folks. The Queens Within is with us. We're nearing the end, unfortunately. I apologize for that, but we're down to the end here. I think, oh yeah, my gosh, I'm at 37 minutes. Been talking too long. Let's see here. What else somebody's got to say? I want to get all these in here. I fell asleep in cinemas too. Oh, you do too? Okay, so it's not bad. Back when I went pre-COVID. Oh, so you don't go at all anymore. Uh-oh. Did you stop going to theaters? We have one here in Georgetown. The matinee is $5. $5 is a deal. And some of you may say, well, JR, you can afford to spend $20. That's not the point. I want a deal. I want a really good deal. The Queens Within says, I have executive functioning issues, and I'm glad you made this video. Oh, well, good. I'm glad. We'll go back and go to the beginning too, because there's a lot of time-saving tips in there. There's software that I talked about, all free. Doesn't cost you anything. It'll really help you get organized. And I appreciate you being here very, very much. I really do. What's Paul got to say? I loved a waiter in Chicago at the Black Hawk restaurant. Took our order of 6 people and didn't write it down. Was practice for theater where he was an actor. Wow, that's pretty cool stuff. I actually worked at a restaurant called Ship's Cabin in Norfolk, Virginia when I was in college, and we weren't allowed to write down anything either. We weren't allowed to. We weren't allowed to auction off food. I mean, I learned so much from the owner of this restaurant. And auctioning off food is like, okay, who had the spaghetti and meatballs? And this was really a high-end restaurant. So we did seafood and steaks and all that stuff. But he says, don't ever go out to a table and not know where that plate's supposed to go. Don't ever do that. And he taught us where to take a plate from and where to set your plate down. You always clear the table before you gave the check, because if you don't, there's plates in the way and you can't even sign the check. I mean, it was silly, right? But those are the things that are really, really important. He taught me so many things. Paul says, have a blessed week ahead, gang. See you Wednesday. Yes, I will be back here Wednesday. Thanks for reminding me. I'll be here Wednesday. And will I be here Wednesday? I have an appointment on Wednesday. Hang on one second. Let me see if I'm going to be here Wednesday. I think I'm good, but I have to look and see. Calendar, Wednesday. Oh, yes, that's in the afternoon. I will be here in the morning, guys. And Friday, I will also be here. So Wednesday and Friday at 10 a.m., make sure you show up. make sure you're here. If you have a subject you want me to talk about, I'll be happy to do it. Anything about starting, running, and growing online businesses, or getting your head right. Getting your head right matters a lot. If you don't have your head right, all the things I teach you, you won't be able to do. And I'm working on the beard. Give me your opinion of that. Should I continue growing this beard or should I get rid of it? It's pretty white at this point. This thing is pretty white. Should I keep it? A waiter's good when they memorize all orders. Yes. But you know what? Anybody can do that. You can do that. There's ways to improve your memory. There's books out there on memorization. I can literally, as a matter of fact, I used to do this at one of my trainings. I would have a grocery list of 10 items and I would call it out to the audience and I say, who's going to remember that an hour from now? And everybody inevitably would say, no, I can't remember that. And then I would show them how they could memorize 10 items on a grocery list. As a matter of fact, that's what I may do Wednesday. I may teach you guys a grocery list and show you how you can memorize 10 items on a grocery list. And you can do it within 15 minutes. Okay, you can learn the process within 15 minutes. If that interests you, put that in the chat section. Okay, if you want to improve your memory, and I had a friend who was a memory specialist from many, many years ago, and he taught me this trick on how to memorize stuff. And it works pretty amazing. He could memorize 100 people's names in one room, which was amazing to me, blew my mind. But he could do that. I think I may do that Wednesday on how to memorize stuff. If you guys are interested, put it in there. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's see. He says, that would be sweet. Okay, we'll be here Wednesday. I'll do it. Paul, let me know if you like that. Queens Within, let me know if you like that. All you guys, let me know if you like that idea. And it'll be here. And you will improve your memory within one training session. Says, wow. Oh, let me get it. I can't quite click on it. Yes. Do a segment on memorizing. Okay, cool. Wow, I wonder how. Oh, you're gonna learn this and go, oh my God, this is so easy. It's so simple to do this. So I'm gonna do that. I'll see you guys on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Let's see here. Yes, do a segment on memorize. Okay, everybody's down with it. Everybody's down with it. Sounds like a plan. All right, guys, you have a great day, and I will talk to you later.